You don't sabotage your life at the beginning. You do it right when it starts working. Something finally clicks. It moves. It's real. And then you hesitate. No mistake, no failure, just a pause. Like your body pulls back before your mind understands why. Why does it feel harder when nothing is wrong? Why does progress feel like something you need to escape? Like if you stay, something about you has to change. It doesn't look like self-sabotage. It looks like this. You open something you've been working on. You look at it for a second. It feels right. Then something shifts. You don't leave all at once. You stay just less until the moment passes without you. Later, it becomes a thought. It almost worked. And that word almost stays. Not failure, not loss. Almost. So you explain it. I'll do it later. But it doesn't feel true. It feels like you left right when it mattered. Before this, it was easy. Just an idea. Now it's real. And real things change you. Because once something works, you don't get to be the same person anymore. You're not afraid of losing it. You're afraid of becoming the person who has to keep it. And that's where it tightens. So something inside you pulls back. Not loud, not obvious, just enough. You don't quit. You fade. You move past what feels normal. And something pulls you back, not to failure, to what feels known. So it doesn't feel like fear. It feels like thinking, waiting, timing, but it always happens at the same point. You get close and you don't cross it because crossing that line changes you. So here's the real question. What are you actually avoiding? Not failure. You already know how to fail. You're avoiding becoming someone new, and that version of you feels unfamiliar. So your mind chooses safe, even if safe keeps you stuck. And over time, this repeats until almost feels normal, until leaving feels automatic. And the worst part, you start calling it normal, and that's the cost. Not failure, becoming someone who never stays. That's heavier. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. That moment where you usually leave, this time you catch it, the pause, the pull. And instead of moving away, you stay just 1 second longer. It feels wrong, like you're breaking something, but you're not. You're breaking the pattern, and that's enough because that second changes what happens next. For the first time, you don't leave. Nothing dramatic happens, no breakthrough, no sudden clarity, just a moment that doesn't collapse. You're still there. And that feels unfamiliar, not because something is wrong, but because something didn't disappear. The urge is still there. That pull to step back just enough to feel safe again. But this time, you notice it before it moves you. And that changes the sequence because before it happened too fast. Now there's a gap, a second where you can feel what's about to happen before it does. And in that second, you stay. Not perfectly, not comfortably, just intentionally. And something subtle shifts. The moment doesn't disappear. It stays long enough to become real, not ideal, not controlled, just real. And that's the part you were avoiding. Not failure, but reality that requires you to exist differently, to respond instead of retreat, to continue instead of your reset. Because once you stay, even for a second longer, you interrupt what used to feel automatic, and that interruption is where change actually begins, not in effort, not in motivation, but in that moment where you don't follow the same exit. You feel it, that discomfort, that tension that used to mean leave now. But this time it doesn't decide for you. You stay with it and it doesn't break you. It passes. And what's left is something you haven't felt before. Not relief, not confidence, just continuity. You didn't disappear. You didn't reset. You stayed long enough for the moment to recognize you, and that's where it starts. Not with a big change, but with a moment that finally doesn't end the way it used to. If this felt familiar, don't scroll. Think of the last time you were close and left. If you saw it, type I saw it, because next time this happens, you won't get to call it accidental. And this time you either stay or prove this is still your pattern. Because the moment you stop leaving, you stop sabotaging.